So feet flat on the floor. Excuse me. If you're sitting on at your desk, and maybe if you're sitting in a cross-legged position, you can feel the sensation of your feet under your legs, and your legs on top of your feet. If your feet are down on the floor, of course, you can feel the sensation of the floor under your feet, the weight, and then the weight of your hands in your lap, the sits bones in the chair, and your shoulders over your hips, and your ears over your shoulders. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So you're just lengthening your spine. And then go to the crown and release any tension there. Just, as you relax your scalp, just allow your scalp to relax. Relax the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, that area around the mouth, back of the tongue, the jaw, the back of the head, the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to just drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just get in contact with your breath. Remember to breathe. Notice the sensations of your breath. The nostrils, the chest, belly. And then notice any sound, distant sound, sound just outside your door, in your house. And just allow all of those sounds to be there. Stay focused on your breath. And then, check in with yourself this morning. How are you? What were your dreams? If you've been awake all day, how's your day been going? Put some space in between your thoughts. And just maybe recognize which thoughts are useful for you. Maybe if you have some kind of scenario going on in your head, maybe a little mini future projecting documentary. Just maybe allow the thoughts to be there and then just try not to follow along with that story without judgment as well. And then thinking about, particularly this morning, thinking about all the people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers, and then the ones who are no longer here. And then I guess, do they become a stranger now? I don't know. And then, of course, there's ones we don't like or we find irritating. And that can fluctuate from day to day as well. So you see this change in our relationships. So then we'll do this meditation on impermanence this morning for the benefit of all these people of our life and by extension all the sentient beings. So everything in our physical world is impermanent. Some of the change we don't notice is happening either so slowly or at a molecular level, so we can't see it. We can't see it, perceive it directly. And some people, you can see, you've known someone from a baby, they turn into a toddler and then a child and then a teenager and then an adult. Then some people pass, they die. Some people get older. As I look at photos of Judith from when I, first moved up here, 1921, and photos of Judith now, photos of myself, other friends. You see this change, although you don't see it as it's happening in a way. We see change from season to season. And then our inner world also changes. From morning till night, you could be happy in the morning and not happy at nighttime. Sometimes we're depressed, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we feel full of love, other times anger and irritation, and memories of conversations, events, thoughts of the future, ideas about things fill our mind. And so, that little meditation we do in the beginning, you can see how quickly the mind changes. Streams of thoughts and feelings and perceptions kind of flash by in every without ceasing if you start to watch it. So we know that impermanence is a thing. But somehow when it starts to happen to us, if it goes from a happy situation to an unhappy situation, we have a little bit of difficulty accepting it. And this kind of real acceptance, honest acceptance of impermanence doesn't often enter our everyday behavior and experience. And we kind of cling to situations and things and people as if they were permanent and unchanging. We don't want the nice person or the beautiful object to change. And we firmly believe that irritating person's never going to be any different. And when we're depressed in the morning or dissatisfied, we think that we're never going to change. We're going to be like that. We're in that forever. But I always think, God, thank goodness for impermanence. Because things do change. This too will pass. And we also have this idea about who we are as a person. I'm an angry person. I'm not very smart. I'm a depressed person. I'm a very gregarious person. And we might indeed be a little bit of those things some of the time, but we're so much more than that. And if we don't recognize impermanence, if we can't bring it on board, somehow accept it, we're just going to constantly feel frustrated, irritated, sad, full of grief, full of loneliness. And we can avoid experiencing them on such an intense level by becoming familiar with this, recognizing how things are just transitory. Everything's in a constant state of flux. And gradually, we'll just be able to accept and change. Accept change. And this is not like in a way where you just kind of give up and go, everyone can just walk all over me. It's not like a giving up thing. It's a recognition of this idea that everything's constantly in motion. And it's also very much to do with our karma. Life doesn't necessarily simply just happen to us. We can bring about change as well. We have the power to change and to develop and transform our minds and our lives. So Bring your awareness to your body. You have many different parts: arms, legs, organs, bones, brain. Everything's kind of working together. And examine all the little bits and pieces one by one. See if you can probe them. Contemplate the nature of your heart or your skin, their substance, their nature, their texture, their shape, their size. And as you focus on your breath, be sensitive to the body that's working right now for you, the movement that's occurring moment by moment. The heart, your heart is beating, the blood is flowing. Feel the energy around your body. Then go a little deeper to an even more subtle level. You're completely composed of living cells coming into existence, moving about, reproducing, dying, disintegrating, coming back again, new ones forming. And then an even more subtle level, all the parts of your body are made of molecules, atoms, subatomic, atomic particles, constantly in motion. If you sit still enough, if you quiet your mind, you can start to feel, you might feel all of this activity as energy, which it is, of course. And so try and really get a feeling for the change that is taking place every moment in your body. Your body is constantly trying to find homeostasis, stasis. Blood sugar's up. Oops, let's do this. Blood sugar's down. Let's do this. Blood pressure's up. Let's fix this. Now think about your mind. Your mind also composed of many parts: thoughts, perceptions, feelings, memories, images, words, the memory of sound flowing constantly, one after the other. So maybe we'll spend a couple of minutes just observing this ever-changing flow of experiences in your mind. So imagine when you're looking in your mind, have you ever had an opportunity, you're sitting in a coffee shop or You're sort of at a train station or an airport or something. You're just watching the world go by. The cars, the pedestrians, the people with their luggage. So just watch your mind like that. Try not to cling to anything you see. Try not to judge or make comments, have opinions about what's there. Just observe your mind, be objective and try to get a sense of the impermanent, ever-changing nature of your mind. So you may have had a little bit of a glimpse of the impermanence of your own inner world, your own body, your own mind. So now extend your awareness to the world outside of you. Think about your immediate surroundings, your computer or your tablet or your phone, your cushion you're sitting on, the chair you're on, the floor, the walls, the windows, the ceiling of your room, and the furniture and all the other objects in the room. And consider that each of these, although appearing to be solid and static, is actually a mass of tiny particles all whizzing around. We feel that the earth we're walking on is really solid. If you've ever felt an earth tremor or an earthquake, you know very quickly it isn't. And think of your phone, the day you bought your phone. Nice, shiny, clean. You're setting it all up. Maybe you got one of those screen protectors on there. And maybe another protector to protect the phone when you drop it. And you're so careful with the phone with maybe the first 6 months. It's like all shiny and new. And then you drop it once, maybe you crack the screen protector that you've got on there. Doesn't look as nice as it did before. Maybe the actual case starts to wear a little bit. So that it starts to change. It's disintegrating in a way through handling. So take your awareness now out beyond the walls of your room. Think of other people, maybe your loved ones, their bodies, their minds, also constantly changing. Think of your strangers. You know, those people that we travel on the freeway with in their cars. They also not staying the same for even one moment. And the same is true of all living beings, birds, insects, snakes. And think of all the inanimate objects in the world, in the universe. Houses, buildings, roads, cars, trees, mountains, oceans, rivers, the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars. All of these things being composed of atoms and other tiny, 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 minute particles are constantly changing every moment, every millisecond. Nothing stays the same. Nothing is static. So concentrate on that experience for a minute. So when you're meditating on impermanence, if at any time you have a clear and strong feeling of how things are constantly changing, the idea is to so basically they're saying once you have an insight into something, hold your attention firmly on it for as long as you can without letting the mind become distracted. So you're trying to stabilize your meditation, just sort of soaking your mind in the experience. And when the feeling fades and your attention starts to travel again, and come back to analyzing the impermanence of your own body or some other object that you're familiar with, like your phone. Well, maybe we have a little bit of an insight into this idea that perhaps it's maybe unrealistic and self-defeating to cling to things as if they were going to be staying the same forever. And whatever is beautiful and pleasing is going to change and eventually disappear. We can't really expect things to give us, situations to give us everlasting happiness. And also, whatever is unpleasant or disturbing isn't going to last forever. It might even change for better. So it's almost like we have just a sort of a stable, steady view of the world. And it doesn't mean to say that you can't, that you shouldn't be upset or grieve when something that was beautiful or someone you loved passes away. This is just a natural, flow of our emotions. But there's a subtle difference between that and clinging on to something, having an unrealistic idea of something that should be staying the same. Okay, let's just dedicate any positive energy, any insights you may have had just doing this meditation this morning to the benefit of all those people of our life, by extension, all the sentient beings.